Now, the 71st Cannes Film Festival is about to get underway in the south of France. Let's cross now to France 24's culture editor, Yves Jackson, and our film critic, Lisa Nesselson. So what's in store for us this year, Yves?
Claire, there's tighter security, fewer Hollywood blockbusters and a ban of selfies on the red carpet. But apart from that, Cannes feels like its usual exciting, hectic and glamorous self, doesn't it, Lisa? Why is this festival so important?
Even in the 12 days to come, you're going to have to stop using the word glamorous. That's not what this event is all about. It is glamorous in the evenings, granted, but actually with 4,000 members of the world press here, with 40,000 people from 160 countries, what this festival does is put a spotlight on people who are in difficulty, people who are struggling, people who are in house arrest in their own countries, and the stories they have to tell. I can't say that enough.
Well, for all the wealth of cinema on display, the world's media will be most concerned about the premiere of Han Solo, a Star Wars story. It's one of the few big Hollywood releases to be revealed here at the Cannes Film Festival. Let's take a look.
You might want to buckle up, baby.
Here they come! Let me give you some advice. Assume everyone will betray you, and you will never be disappointed.
I got a really good feeling about this.
Since when do you know how to fly?
190 years old? You look great.
Push it!
The Cannes Film Festival is at a crossroads. There are lots of new names appearing here on the Croisette, as well as the return of lots of veterans. Tell us about something you're looking forward to, Lisa.
Well, the main reason I'm here is to see the 50th anniversary showing of 2001, A Space Odyssey, Stanley Kubrick's still groundbreaking film, which is not restored but struck from the original 70mm negative. Christopher Nolan himself is here to celebrate this. And why am I excited about that? Because it changed my life. A lot of film people of my generation can still remember where they were sitting in the theater and how you stumbled out into daylight or nighttime afterwards thinking you had been to the edges of the universe and back. I think we have a snippet of Stanley Kubrick's brilliant hologram about space travel and destiny.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
What's the problem?
I think you know what the problem is just as well as I do.
What are you talking about, Hal?
This mission is too important for me to allow you to jeopardize it.
I don't know what you're talking about, Hal.
I know that you and Frank were planning to disconnect me, and I'm afraid that's something I cannot allow to happen.
A very exciting festival. Any trends emerging this year, Lisa?
Well, the trends usually start piling up as we see an unnatural number of films in the course of the same day. I remember there was one year where there were 3 movies from completely different countries where a character lost a finger, so that was a trend that year. I've seen a few films that I'm not at liberty to say what they are ahead of time, and so I'm just going to go ahead and declare this the year of the visible penis here in France, because women have often, refused to do nudity in films, but men from all over the world seem to be very, very willing to expose themselves below the waist on film for posterity this year.
You heard it here first on France 24. Well, there's been a lot of talk about women in film over the past 6 months. We've even made a documentary about it on Encore that you can watch online on france24.com. How are we seeing this reflected at the Cannes Film Festival?
Well, certainly people are writing and broadcasting about it, as we're doing right now, but actually I don't think it's fair to blame the Cannes Film Festival for not keeping up with gender parity. It's wonderful that Cate Blanchett is the head of the jury. She's an incredibly accomplished woman, but there have been many other female heads of the jury, going back to Olivia de Havilland, Sophia Loren, Liv Ullmann. There has been parity among the jurors on the main competition jury for years, and in the competition, I'm sorry, people are saying there are only 3 films films directed by women out of 21. But there are lots and lots of films by women in other sections of the festival, and if a film is smaller and doesn't really have what it takes to stand up to that level of scrutiny, you're not doing the filmmaker any favors by putting them in the major spotlight right off the bat just because they happen to be female. I think just yesterday, festival director Thierry Frémaux said that there will be 100 women walking up those red carpeted steps. That's going to be a wonderful spectacle, but it remains to be seen whether they've been chosen because they've contributed something to film or because they just happen to have ovaries. I am looking forward to one of the films by Eva Husson, and she made a wonderful film a few years ago called Gang Bang, and she has a film where Goldshifter Farhadi has been held captive by terrorists,
ISIS.
I guess, yeah. And she's broken free, and she's joined an all-women fighting battalion in Kurdistan. And these really are women doing this kind of work, so I am looking forward to that.
And the opening film that we're going to see here on the red carpet this evening stars the real-life couple Penelope Cruz and Javier Bardem. It's called Everybody Knows, and it's directed by the double Oscar-winning director Asghar Farhadi. What do we know about this director?
This director has apparently remained on the good side of the authorities in his native country because a lot of his fellow filmmakers are either under house arrest. For example, Jafar Panahi, whose film has been invited here, but it's pretty certain he won't be able to make it. And other people who have been left Iran and can't ever go back. But he's very good at telling stories with intricate ensemble casts and hidden motivations. So far he's worked in his native Farsi. Also, he made a film in France. This one is set in Spain, and it's entirely in Spanish. And the wonderful Argentine actor Ricardo Daran is also part of the cast.
Well, we interviewed the director Asghar Farhadi, and he told us about his choice of actors.
I had these two actors in mind from the moment I started writing the script. It was not too complicated to base my characters around them, as they're so personable that viewers can identify with them from the get-go. It was something essential for me. I needed characters with a lot of charisma.
We all carry with us a suitcase full of emotions, life experiences and traumas, some more than others. And in her case, she's a woman that lives with a secret, and life puts her in a very difficult situation, one of the most difficult things that can happen to a mother. That's precisely why it has been the most difficult character that I've ever played until now.
And you can watch the rest of our interview with the director at 10:15 Paris time this evening, or you can catch it online later on. Now, two directors in the competition this year won't be here to premiere their films because they're not allowed to leave their home countries. Tell us more.
Well, that would be Jafar Panahi, who has been making films clandestinely since he was put under a 20-year ban to leave Iran. He could possibly leave, he could get out, be smuggled out, like his films have been smuggled out for years to festivals like this, but he might not be able to go back. And also a Russian director who has produced theater pieces here at the Avignon Film Festival, who made a film about the 1980s under Brezhnev in the Soviet Union, and he is not being permitted to accompany his film either.
And his name is Kirill Serebrennikov. Well, there's so much to come here at the Cannes Film Festival. You can catch us here every day for the next 2 weeks until the festival wraps up. And please tune in to our daily interviews on Encore.